You are welcome to Africa Uncovered YouTube channel. My name is TJ. You are welcome to our new episode. And today we're going to be discussing Rwanda, something related with Rwanda. And we're asking ourselves, is Rwanda replacing Uganda as Africa's leading peacekeeping nation? Yes, is Rwanda replacing Uganda as Africa's leading peacekeeping nation? The former received a boost of 21 million US dollars to fight terrorism in Mozambique. That's what we're going to be discussing today on Africa Uncovered. So sit down, relax, here we go. Rwanda has become a central player in one of Africa's most pressing conflicts. Since 2017, the northern Cabo Delgado province of Mozambique has been embroiled in violence, with insurgencies wreaking havoc in the region rich with natural resources. The Africa's largest gas reserve and the world's biggest ruby deposits are in Mozambique, in the region of the northern Cabo Delgado. That one is well known. What started, as a local uprising evolved into a full-blown insurgency, and over 1.3 million people have been displaced by this violence. Now, the insurgence is driven by multiple factors, including government corruption, opposition to state policies, and a powerful Islamic group linked to the Islamic State. But as the conflict rages on, one thing is becoming clear: the solution is no longer in the hands of the people or in the hands of Mozambique as Mozambique itself. It is becoming clear that it is a matter of the region and beyond. In 2021, when the Southern African Development Community, you can call it SADC, peacekeeping missions faltered under finance and logistical constraints, Mozambique turned to an expected ally, Rwanda. Rwanda, as a small nation with a strong military reputation, swiftly deployed over 4,000 troops to combat the insurgency. And now, Rwanda's role has been given a major boost. This move underscores the growing international confidence in Rwanda's peacekeeping capabilities. The European Union has, like we said, committed an additional 21 million US dollars to support Rwanda's mission in Cabo Delgado in Mozambique. This fund is meant to help Rwanda to sustain its forces, cover the costs of its personnel, equipment, and crucial airlift operations to keep them in the field. That is the reason why they received this sum of 21 million US dollars. The EU officials have praised Rwanda's efforts, highlighting the effectiveness in Rwanda troops in stabilizing key regions like Palma district, a once hotbed of insurgency and attacks in the northern Cabo Delgado province of Mozambique. The European Union officials also stressed that this support aligns with the commitment of Africa's led solution to Africa's problem. Well, this is a statement that has been championed definitely by Africans, but Europeans are deciding to jump on it. But we all understand that it was an origination of Africa, or it's Africans that have made popular as saying that Africa should have the solution for Africa, okay? An African-led solution for African problems. So it should not be so much attached to the Europeans. But according to the European Union officials, they are saying this funding is meant to, stress an African-led solution for African problems. Now, the situation in Camp Delgado remains fragile, okay? So despite the international support, the insurgents' activities continue to escalate despite the presence of Rwanda still. So this problem is, continuing to make so many people to leave their homes to seek refuge in the neighboring countries or in the southern part of Mozambique. So there's still insurgents going on despite the presence of Rwanda, but they've done a great, great commendable job. So while Rwanda is making strides in the northern region, the situation is further complicated by the political unrest in Mozambique. After the October elections, we all understand that there have been uprisings after the leader of opposition called for people to take on the streets. And since then, there's been uprisings in the country, with the opposing groups accusing the government of rigging the results. So, as political unrest grows in the south, the northern part remains in the state of emergency, leaving thousands of civilians vulnerable to the ongoing insurgents. Now, this brings us to the point where we see Uganda in the picture. How? Uganda has been long known as Africa's leading peacekeeping force. I mean the UPDF, the National or the Uganda People's Defense Forces, the national force of Uganda, the UPDF, has been known for being the leading peacekeeping force on the continent. But its absence from the mission in the Mozambique is raising questions as to why Mozambique turned to Rwanda instead of Uganda, as it is East Africa's known best force or best peacekeeping force. So why did Mozambique this time around turn to the neighbors of Uganda for assistance? It leaves questions to be answered. Rwanda has lately been working, towards ensuring that their forces are up to the standards and disciplined despite mixed reactions, for example, from their missions in the DRC, where they have been accused of backing the M23 rebels by the president of the Democratic Republic of Congo, Felix Tshisekedi. But despite this, the military of Rwanda, its strategy is often viewed as more agile and focused, and this reputation played a key role in Rwanda being called upon in Mozambique. So Rwanda's intervention has not only been military, but Rwanda's forces have provided vital security to critical infrastructure that includes, the natural gas projects, which have been a target of the insurgencies, because these insurgents, also want to tap onto the minerals for them to be able to sustain their operations. So the military of Rwanda, the RDF forces, and the police as well, because we all understand that the 4,000 troops that were sent included the police and the army. So these forces have also been providing, security for these fragile infrastructure places in Camp Delgado. Their presence has allowed businesses to resume operations and given displaced families hope for stability. While Rwandan forces continue to play, a critical role in the region, the path for long-term peace remains uncertain in Mozambique. We're referencing the Rwanda role in Mozambique as a peacekeeping nation vis-a-vis what could have gone wrong that, Uganda, who is known to be a peacekeeping nation on the continent was never called upon. So while they continue to play this pivotal role, the path for, peace in the Mozambique region, especially the upper region, remains uncertain. Mozambique is caught in between managing domestic unrest and then tackling a violent insurgency that shows no sign of letting up. So Rwanda's growing role in peacekeeping operations in Africa is clear, but as countries like Uganda watch from the sideline, the question remains, is Rwanda now replacing Uganda as the leading Africa's peacekeeping force? And with 21 million in funding, 21 million US dollars in funding from the EU to support its operations, Rwanda seems ready to take on even more operations. Where does this leave Uganda? What happened? Okay, because we understand that there is that cordial relationship between the government of Uganda, led by His Excellency YK Museveni, and then the government of Mozambique. And in a recent past, the president of Mozambique has been frequenting Uganda in, cordial visits. But when it came to, the time of requesting for assistance, they decided to go for the PRF from Rwanda. Now, why did they not call on the renowned UPDF? It is a question that lingers and remains unanswered. Well, that's what I thought we would discuss today on Africa Uncovered YouTube channel. You can go ahead, comment, like, share, and subscribe above all. And tell us why you think the UPDF was never called upon to to give a helping hand in the Mozambique insurgents that, is taking over the regional part, but instead opted for the PRF of Rwanda that are now receiving monies, that are now receiving extra funding from the European Union in the sums of over 21 million US dollars. Some money that could have probably gone into the coffers of the UPDF. From me to you, I am TJ. For tonight, adios.